One number can save your round, so when the pressure's on, don't guess. Bushnell Golf gives serious golfers the confidence to pull the right club, with rangefinders, GPS devices, and launch monitors trusted by 98.1% of pros. From the Tour V7 Shift to the Pro X3 Plus and Launch Pro, Bushnell Golf is built for precision you can feel on every shot. Shop direct at Bushnell Golf for the widest selection, exclusive offers, and free shipping. When the pressure's on, trust the number trusted by the pros. Bushnell Golf. Visit bushnellgolf.com today. That's BUSHNELLGOLF.com.
This episode sponsored by Minky Couture. Fair warning, bring a Minky Couture blanket home and it may instantly become the most wanted seat in the house. That's the magic of Minky Couture. Minky Couture created the original soft Minky blanket, trusted for premium quality and custom styles. One touch and movie nights, naps, and cold mornings suddenly revolve around who got to it first. Shop now at minkycouture.com. That's Minky, M-I-N-K-Y, Couture, C-O-U-T-U-R-E.com. Go to minkycouture.com and get your Minky Couture blanket now, before everyone in your house claims it is theirs.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. We're going to talk to our buddy Mitch Harper coming up here momentarily. Mitch has been working very hard covering camp. He's got a bunch of stuff up at kslsports.com. If you're looking for info, Mitch, of course, as always, has all the latest and greatest up there. So stay tuned. We're going to connect with Mitch coming up in a moment. We may be Christian. You were teasing earlier the Hall of Fame game tonight with the Panthers and Cardinals.
Oh yeah, you're bringing it back up.
Well, I am, because do you know why the Cardinals went viral today?
Today?
Uh-huh.
No.
A bunch of clips surfaced from their camp of them looking just dreadful. Can't catch, can't get a snap, fumbles left and right. I mean, they're being clowned publicly for how crappy that they are.
And that's why they're in the Hall of Fame game.
I don't know if that's the promotional, juice that you want going into the Hall of Fame game. Mitch Harper joining us now, covers the Cougs for KSLSports.com. Mitch, real quick, are you going to watch the Hall of Fame game tonight with the Panthers and the Cardinals?
I will be.
And you're not, I don't think you are, but you're not a degenerate gambler.
I'm not.
No.
Okay. I just want some football.
You're just a sick person.
And if he was, he wouldn't admit it on air.
I'm glad you're coming on, though, Mitch, because we are talking football, and you are passionate about the sport. Where do you want to start? What do you think is the biggest story coming out of the start of camp right now?
I think just how Kalani Sitake believes he likes the speed of this BYU team. I don't think that's ever been a characteristic I ever hear associated with BYU football is speed.
Not often, anyway.
So I can't think of a time that I've ever heard a coach point out on day one of a camp they like the speed of the team. So that kind of shined, through yesterday from Kalani Sitake's comments. But, honestly, BYU only gave us like 8 minutes of practice when we were supposed to get 20. So the observation, it was all 3rd and 4th team guys, which was fine because, honestly, I look at these deep cut players as probably what's probably the most important really in fall camp, because with so much returning experience, get those guys ready for the battles in the season, develop the rest of your roster, because now you no longer just say to a guy, hey, you're probably going to redshirt. And now it's like everyone is on the table because they're going to lose the year of eligibility anyway. So, everyone needs to be ready if called upon to play. So I think there is a little bit more intrigue and value, kind of deep cut, reps being out there in camp. But the speed, I think, was what really caught my attention, hearing that from Kalani Sitake, which was unprovoked.
I heard you with Scotty and the coach earlier this week, and you brought up the Bears' efficiency numbers, and you brought up the possibility of getting to 70%, which is where Zach Wilson and Jaron Hall were under Coach A-Rod. And I thought to myself, man, BYU's offense is going to be unstoppable if he gets to 70%. I mean, that would be ridiculous. So I guess I'd ask the follow-up, what circumstance need to happen for him to get to that 70? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think that a large part of that is he's got to improve as a passer, I think, one. But I think, two, it helps the cause he's got a lot of capable tight ends that he can go to over the middle. And those quick intermediate throws that can be, quick hitters. And I think they feel these tight ends could have the ability to break free and get some chunk yardage, even if with it being a simple route and a simple pitch and catch. So I think Bear has got that potential, and he shed some weight a little bit, looks much improved physically from where he was last year as a freshman. He trimmed his long hair that he had at Big 12 Media Days. That was of note at practice yesterday. I saw he got a new haircut. So it kind of looks like the Bear that he was a year ago at this time navigating fall camp as a fresh face in BYU's program. But just continue to evolve as a passer. I think that's the big question with Bear this year. We all know that he can run the football with the best of them, even with his little bit of getting rid of some weight. He's still going to be able to run the football. Last year he had more than 500 yards. I would expect that the workload's going to continue, where he's going to still be a key piece to BYU's ground attack. So just evolving as a passer, and with the improved depth at tight end, that could create an opportunity. I think his decision-making, too, will be something to watch this season as well. But I expect a jump from Bear. I think he's going to be better this season. Can he, become one of the best in the Big 12? I think BYU needs that if they're going to actually win this conference.
So I'm sure you're tired of this question, but who fills the void then at wide receiver? I mean, if everything's going well, who probably took a step forward? Is it JoJo's time to shine? We're talking about a brother connection. I mean, who fills that void?
So I talked to Fesi Sitake, the wide receiver coach, yesterday about this. We kind of went in depth on the wide receiver unit. He said right now that probably, as he put it, is JoJo Phillips wide receiver one. And he's been impressed with JoJo in the spring and summer, and feels like he's ready for this opportunity to be in this spotlight role. And, I think I asked Fesi if it's harder for an unexpected performer to emerge when you don't have a proven wide receiver one. Because last year, Kingston, no one at this time was looking at him saying he's going to be one of the best receivers in the Big 12 last year. No one saw that coming, myself included. I think it helped the cause that there was a guy that creates a lot of attention in opposing scouting reports with Chase Roberts. You don't have that this year. And, and Fesi noted that, there's been years in the past where they've had this sort of situation and guys emerge. But still, I think that position, when you have a team that feels like it's all chips are in, not to pull the degenerate gambler talk, but put the chips in, and you don't want to have any sort of glaring weakness with this team. And, they like the talent of these receivers, but it's still a question mark because none of these guys have taken on spotlight roles anywhere in their collegiate careers yet. So JoJo will be the assumed one. Talked about Kyler Casper as well. And Fesi raved about his athleticism. And I think that's something that maybe is not something that people point to with him being 6'6". You think just kind of a big bodied guy that's dealt with multiple foot injuries. You wouldn't really point to athleticism, but Fesi said he's an incredible athlete and someone that can do a lot of different things, whether it's red zone, a deep threat receiver. They love his speed and athleticism at that wide receiver spot. And then these freshmen, Legend Glasker, Fesi noted that he has been running with the ones because of his knowledge of the playbook. So I look at Legend Glasker as being a favorite to be a week one starter as a true freshman. I don't think there's many other positions on this team that you could point to a true freshman making a dent right out of the gates. But I think Glasker is going to have that opportunity for BYU in that wide receiver room.
I don't remember the last time a newcomer had as much buzz as Uluave. I hope I'm saying that. Cade, the transfer from Cal there at linebacker. You mentioned you only got a chance to see third and fourth stringers, so probably didn't get a chance to lay your eyes on him actually playing. But give us a little more info on this guy, and is he going to live up to the buzz he's creating so far?
I think Uluave will, and he's first off, I saw him on the sideline. He's probably the CEO of biker shorts. He wears the shortest shorts, but he rocks them well. Like not many men can pull those off, but Uluwave holds it down quite well. He's going to be really good for BYU. He might be, the best player on the defense this year. And even Kalani pointed to Uluwave. He looks like he's already immersed himself in the scheme. He's a completely different player from where he was in spring, and he hasn't even played a game yet for BYU, but you just know with what his production has been at the collegiate level, everywhere he's been, every conference. He was a Pac-12 freshman of the year. He was a first-team All-ACC guy last year. He's going to be excellent, and he's a leader too, and he's really kind of taken on a face of the program type approach where, last week at the Golf Classic, he's taken on any interview that anyone wanted to throw his way. He was just willing to talk about anything, and he's just fast too. He gets downhill. He plays with so much speed, and that's what really shined in spring football when watching him. And the coaching staff just believes that he's only gotten better since spring. So I think he's going to be excellent for BYU. I think that entire linebacker unit is going to be really good with Glasker. Sialia Sarah returns, and he's dealt with injuries. He's finally fully healthy. Ace Kafusi, Jake Clifton from Kansas State, return missionary transfer. He's been really good too. So that's a deep linebacker room with no shortage of talent, but I think Uluwave might lead the way.
Keep hearing Gary Anderson's name come up a lot. People talk about Papinga and how he'll do and step into the coordinator role. And, I think he even himself mentioned Gary being a resource, but a lot of people are talking about that. I heard DJ and PK this morning read his job title, which made me laugh. I'm curious, what exactly is his job description? What does Gary do on a day in and day out basis?
He's heavily involved with the defense, and last couple of years, he's been right there right next to the coordinator in the booth, devising game plans and being, like a defensive consultant as it's listed now. And now it's chief consultant to the head coach.
Don't forget the chief, Mitch. Don't short the man.
Chief. Gary Anderson's, heavily involved. And I think, what helps with Kelly Papinga and Gary Anderson, why his role, I think, is so noteworthy now compared to when it was with Jay Hill, is just, the foundation of this defense is still, the Whittingham, Kalani, Scally, all those guys that tried and true defense. And Papinga's kind of had to become a student of that defense the last 3 years. And by no means would he be veteran of that defense yet. He's immersed himself, and he's gotten to know it quite a bit. And it's been a really good defense the past couple of years for BYU. But Gary Anderson's a veteran on that thing, and he's known as well as anyone like Whittingham and Kalani. So just to have that extra set of eyes, and even Anderson has pointed to, even on these airwaves where he said that he likes the ability to mentor and develop young defensive coaches too. And he's got an opportunity here with Kelly Papinga, who's a veteran in coaching, but it's new being the coordinator. And, Kalani pointed how Papinga is probably the hardest working coordinator he's ever been around. And I thought that was high praise for K-Pop, because he has been putting in yeoman's work on the recruiting trail and everything he can to really hit this out of the park. Because I think when you inherit a defense that's got guys like Kato Luave, got preseason first team all Big 12 guys, and Keanu Tanavasa, Evan Johnson, there's a certain standard. He's not stepping into BYU's defense like Jay Hill did, where it was maybe the nation's worst defense and it can only go up. No one's going to want to look at this and go, 8-4, 9-3 and say the defense was the issue for BYU fumbling the bag and not getting to the playoff for the Big 12 championship. That could instantly create, I don't say hot seat, but it could create people pointing to, well, Jay Hill's gone, and maybe the best days of BYU's defense are out the window because of that. So Gary Anderson's role kind of being that connector to that whole scheme and origins. But then you also have, again, guys like Papinga have worked with Fred Warner, Kyle Vanoy. I mean, he was in the trenches with those guys at BYU, and Fred Warner, always praises Kelly Papinga for the development that he experienced at BYU and the recruitment too, to K-Pop. So, and Fred Warner's the best in the NFL these days when it comes to the linebacker position. So I think Kelly Papinga is going to be really good, but Gary Anderson's role is just valuable. And for him too, he doesn't have to worry about recruiting. He doesn't have to worry about really talking to us. he can just focus on ball, be at a high-level program with people he knows, but also help, develop the next generation of coaches that are really looking to still climb the ladder.
I hope this question makes sense, Mitch, but when I first got in the business, and I'm sure this was true when you did too, BYU had the rep that they didn't pay anybody, including their head coach, right? They're lucky if you get a budget to fill out the staff with what the NCAA would allow. Even as recently as when Kalani first got hired and all the budget went to Ty Detmer and he had to kind of scramble together a staff. And we've gotten to the point now where BYU, and don't get me wrong, I think it's the perfect role for Gary Anderson, and it's obviously perfect for BYU, but BYU has gotten to the point where they're going to pay a former head coach just to hang around and give his advice, So my question is, how did we get here? Did BYU truly have a change of heart about investing in athletics and the football coaching staff in specific, or is this Kalani leveraged all this as the process has gone and he's had other interests?
I think BYU's, invested a lot more because they knew that if they wanted to be competitive in the Big 12, they had to step up. But I think there's still a lot more to be done. I don't think BYU's arrived at all. I think that there's still a far cry from the Texas Techs, the Oregons, the Texases of the world. Like, that's, if you're not chasing them, like, what are you in this for? So I think that's why I get, hesitant to say that this is like a playoff or bust type season, because I feel pretty confident that this isn't a $40 million roster. And so I think there's still a gap. Like, they've done a big, leap forward from what it's been in the past. Even 2 years ago when Mark Pope left on the basketball side, you thought, are they going to really invest and try to keep building this? And they hit it out of the park with Kevin Young, and it's a completely different program. They're in the mix for 5-star pro recruits left and right. Football, I think there's still more to be done on that front with the overall investment of the roster, and retaining Kalani was a great sign to that. But going around the Big 12 venues, you just see the facilities, like seeing Texas Tech in person last November. That's not the same ball game BYU's playing in, and you're chasing that in the league, and they're not slowing down. And now the difference with Texas Tech, it's not just portal heavy. It's now high school recruits, 5 stars. They're getting the best of the best, and that machine's not slowing down. So I think people look at the Big 12 and say it's a wacky, wide open, crazy league. Like, no, it's starting to settle into where there's going to be a juggernaut, and I think it's Texas Tech. BYU's got a chance to be right there, but I think, I don't feel confident that they're still to that level of investing in their roster, because a lot of people want to play for Kalani Sitake and this program, and getting guys like Keita Luave are great examples of that. You got to get more of those guys in these portal cycles and really build out these rosters. Imagine if you get a guy, an all-conference wide receiver in the portal, and pay a premium and still get them, to buy into the culture. This staff's pretty likable. So I think there's still room to grow on that front. But yeah, it's much better than where it once was, because I think you thought that, BYU would step into the Big 12 and look to add value, but would they ever really play the game at the highest stages? I think they have, but there's still more to be done, I think, from BYU standpoint of paying out with the rosters. I think there's still more to be done in basketball too.
Mitch, I remember now years ago when Deion Sanders first got hired at Colorado, you and I did some radio where we kind of disagreed on how that was going to go. And it was obviously terrific radio, because I still remember it today. That year also, or maybe it was the next year, when we were in Vegas at the Big 12 Media Day, and when Deion stepped onto the floor, it was truly like a celebrity was there and everybody was fawning. And this year at Big 12 Media Days, it felt way different. It felt like he was much more quiet and subdued. It wasn't like the celebrity just walked onto the floor. And so I'm curious, all these years after our conversation, where you're at on Deion and the Buffs program and his future. Ben didn't think he'd be there this long, I'm curious your thoughts on where he is now.
Yeah, I think, to the point of the Big 12 Media Day, I mean, he went up to his players, and I was there just because I was kind of seeing what he wanted to say to his players, and there was like 4 other media members. Two years ago, there would have been probably 100 people circling him at least, watching his every move. So you're right that the buzz is completely gone. I think that, Coach Prime, I just think he's kind of miscalculated a little bit on the high school piece. You got to, I think going portal heavy is totally fine. I think it's great, honestly, because if I'm going to go build out a roster, I want the proven commodity at the college level over some 18-year-old that has these high expectations of just waltzing in and being the guy. Go get a transfer portal guy who's been an all-conference player over a 3-star high school guy any day. Absolutely. I think, though, what's hurt him is that he lost their guy that they called the franchise, Jordan Seaton, to LSU. I thought that was a big blow because he was someone that really believed in the vision of Coach Prime and the program, and he leaves for LSU. And I thought that was a big blow. And just seeing that team, seeing them in the Alamo Bowl a couple years ago against BYU and last year too, they just seem small. They just don't look big physically. You get around BYU and Utah in the trenches, they're huge. And BYU and Utah are big physical teams. In Colorado, it's just not that. And I think that's something that's been a little bit surprising. I still think, though, that Prime is I think he could still be a great coach somewhere else. I just think that Colorado, it's kind of I think he's almost done all that he could there, honestly. I feel like if he got to Florida State, his alma mater, or somewhere else, maybe in Texas where he's got roots deep in that state, I think he could hit it out of the park. But I just think a lot of guys, they don't want to be at Colorado. And I just think that program's kind of done all it can with Coach Prime's star power and celebrity. So I still am a believer in him as the college football coach. He's got to have more continuity as the coordinators because he's been revolving door with the OCs every year. DC, he's had 3 different guys, 4 different OCs. He's got to get some stability there. He brings in Marion, the go-go offense with the OC this year, but I'm still a believer in Prime. I like what he does for college football. I like that he's good for the Big 12, but I just think he's done all he can at Colorado. And if I was him, I'd be looking elsewhere for a new landing spot. And I think Florida State makes all the sense in the world to can Norvell and go get Coach Prime, the alma mater, because I think he would kill it in recruiting and building out rosters in Florida. I think that would just make so much sense because going into the Southeast to get recruits for the state of Colorado, that's just not going to be a recipe that works year after year. And I think Coach Prime's tried to do that a little bit too much, and it's kind of backfired where they just don't have the depth and the physical presence in those trenches to really win at a high level consistently in a Power 4 conference.
Mitch, thank you for coming on, and enjoy your evening of watching Kenny Pickett fail at football. We will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Mitch. You're the best. That's Mitch Harper, covers the Cougs for KSLSports.com. He's all over camp. Follow his stuff. He's got a ton of it up now, and it's just going to keep on coming. So this is Mitch's busy season now until, next May. Mitch is going to be busy. So check out all his work, KSLSports.com. We appreciate him taking time to jump on with us and talk a little bit about the Cougs. All right, we'll have more coming up next. PK will be with us in the 5 o'clock hour. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market. They've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson, thank you for joining us today. Thanks to Mitch Harper, joined us in the last segment to give us a breakdown of BYU camp. Let's switch things over to Utah camp. Yesterday, Utah really did a terrific job making their coaches and a lot of folks available, and we want to take advantage of that. We played Kevin McGiven yesterday, the new offensive coordinator, but we wanted to get to a couple more of these today. And when I saw that Shah was made available, I thought that is the perfect place to start because Sharrieff is always cannot miss radio. And we thought we'd hear his media availability and maybe circle around back to it later on in the show for some things he said about why he stayed at Utah. But let's play the entire availability for you right now. Here's Shah.
Sharrieff, obviously you're going to get a lot of questions about corners, but I want to ask you specifically about special teams.
Sure.
You are the coordinator of that group. How have you seen maybe Dylan Curtis or Ryan Phillips and the rest of the special teams unit come along from the end of spring to now?
What's been fun is to watch somebody like Logan Castor. Logan is our long snapper, short snapper. He does all of our snapping. Logan's been in the program for years now. And when you think about Utah football, Logan is who I think about. Somebody that just works, doesn't complain, never asks for anything. Oh, I absolutely love him. And I love that he said, Coach, if I just focus on one thing and becoming the very best snapper for you, you think I can probably find a way on the field? Like, maybe. Not only did he find his way on the field, he found his way to becoming an all-conference long snapper. So I'm extremely happy about him. It's now about who's behind him. And that's what we've had to kind of go out and find. Or like we always do in the Utah way, is anybody on the team ever long snap? You got 42 hands to go up and you're like, okay, let's all meet after practice and let's see if we can figure out who's going to be somewhat decent. Well, then out of that, those bevy of kids, you get, a couple that are actually pretty good. You're like, hey, Logan was one of those guys. He said, I think I can long snap. I'm 6'5", 231, and maybe I can run a little bit, and I have massive 12-inch hands. The ball looks like a tennis ball when it's going back there. So, some people have God-given physical attributes that make it easier for them. He's one of them. And there's a kid behind him named Mitch Nielsen who's showing up. Another kid, Gage Victor, who we got from Snow College, who's also doing a fantastic job. Super pleased with what I think can be a very good long snapping group. Orion Phillips, when we first got him, he looked like my baby from Joe Dirt or something. He just looked crazy. And I tell him that all the time. I said, you were 162 pounds. He's 193 now. And I watched him punt. I'm like, you might have a chance to do something special. He is so good, just in terms of attitude, demeanor. Coach, you think maybe we can try this or that? And it used to be, Coach, this is crazy. It's a little bit chaotic. Everybody's coming at me. I'm like, yeah, mate, because he's from Australia. I'm like, that's what we do here in America. People's going to blitz you. So get used to getting the ball off faster. I like to go on and get my steps right. And I was like, look, punt the ball. Let's get this thing going. Well, he got good, and he got really good. And I think he's poised to be a lot better. Dylan Curtis is who I'm most excited to watch. He had a tough freshman debut, showed the capability of which we all thought he had. An outstanding elite leg. He still has it. Coming off of an injury that now I feel like he's probably just about 100% watching him kick in practice. I'm like, oh man, we might be pretty good. And at least if we're not as good as I think we'll be consistent. We'll be good enough to, I think when Coach Scally looks and says, should we put our field goal unit on? I'm like, Coach, go right now. And we all feel good about it, and the kids feel good about it. So that's what you love to see coming out of spring. That's what was been happy. I love Tanner Cragen, a young man that we got who was with us, went to Utah State, I then think to UTEP, and now is back. Love him. He's a kicker and a potential punter for us. So long snappers, punters, kickers, well, at least we're in a good spot where we can continue to grow some kids and get people better and get ready for this season.
Coach Shah, you've obviously had a very close relationship with Morgan Scally, as you did with Kyle Whittingham. I want to ask you just about the decision to stay with Morgan and stay at this program instead of going to Michigan or even other places. What was that process like for you, and was it an easy decision to make, just given your relationship with Morgan?
Coach Witt, I would not be coaching had it not been for Coach Witt. I wouldn't be here. So I will always love Coach Witt, always, forever. Has a very special place in my heart. So when he initially left, it was something that I had to consider. I knew where I wanted to be. I know I wanted to be with Coach Scally, but Coach has a way of being very persuasive, Coach Witt. He can be very persuasive, and when I talk to my wife and just going through the things that I still wanted to be able to achieve here, it made sense. It was what was in my heart to be with Coach Scally. We had a lot of plans that we sat in the corner, that defensive room for years, just well, if I were this and if I could do that, wishing, and now some of these things are starting to come to fruition. No, you don't want to go anywhere. You want to see if you can make those dreams a reality. So, man, I absolutely love what I believe Coach Witt is going to build, but my home was here. It was with the guy that, I was able to cut my teeth with. And on the defensive side of the ball, it's with the thought and expectation that we want to win in a big way. We want to do what Indiana showed everybody that you can do if you can assemble the right young men, have the right culture, the right mindset. You can do that. That's not a one-off. I think that's going to become more apparent and more commonplace than people think, especially with what's happening in college football, what's been happening, transfers, more good players and on virtually damn near every team. So I wanted to be here.
Let's start from Josh.
You have a lot of competition in your room. I know you're never satisfied with where.
Never.
But where are they right now? Do you feel comfortable that you have guys that can get out there and I think in spring you were saying they were a little too physical. Are you at a point now where you feel comfortable with at least where you're at?
I'm at a point right now where I can look in my room and say, these 5 or 6 guys should be able to really help us. I didn't know that in the spring. In the spring, I'm like, I think he might be able to do it. I'm not sure about this kid. But now, having gone through summer, just a few days in the fall camp, and Coach Scally is so good. He wants an assessment on everybody, like, what about this room? And we do that as a coaching staff like everybody else in the country. But I look at the room and say, yeah, I'm getting comfortable with believing that these 4, 5, 6 kids can really do it. I guess the level of impatience with me is invariably injury happens. So I'm looking at the other kids in the room like, you should be able to come along faster, which makes me incredibly impatient. I'm always yelling at somebody for something. They're like, well, I didn't even get a rep. Well, you've been watching for the last 3 days. Why don't you know it? Yeah, it's kind of wrong, but it is what it is. But you want the accelerated development right now because we play. The kids are like, oh, Coach, we don't play until September. I'm like, we play in 5 minutes. That's what it feels like to me. But I've grown a lot more comfortable watching the kids in the summer and then again in these last few days to say, man, Scooby should be able to have several guys be with him. Scooby because he has the most experience. But then it's Eli Reed who showed his physicality and length. James Chenault, we call Bobo, incredibly savvy. J.C. Hart, who's been with us, now is comfortable in the defense and starting to make some plays. Earl Parker, young man we got out of JUCO. Brandon Holmes, another young man who would probably be vying for a nickel spot. The person I'm probably most excited for is Jeremiah Caldwell, who we call Rock. Rock played safety, played outside corner, played nickel. His versatility and command of the room just gives us such, I think, a benefit. Especially it helps to be 6'2" and a half and playing nickel as well as corner. And then the young kids who I'm impatiently patient with, your Dylan Waters, Major Henshin, the kids that just got to us in spring who I'd love to continue to take a big step forward. It's and the person I hope continues to show me improvement like he has the last 2 days is Nick Brown. He came from Lamar, and I've asked him to play nickel, and it's just a lot to do, and it's a lot to digest in that spot, but he's doing a great job. So I can at least confidently say, man, I have a good room. I feel like I have good pieces to assemble to make us really, really competitive, if not absolutely elite, I believe. But we have a lot of camp left, a lot of camp left.
You heard that, Christian. He's impatiently patient with the young guys. I wonder what that looks like.
A lot of yelling.
A lot of yelling, yeah. What would it look like if your wife was impatiently patient with you?
A lot of yelling.
A lot of yelling? All right. Yeah, impatiently patient. I wonder what that looks like. It's probably not all that fun. It's probably not all that patient.
Yeah. It's pretty contradictory.
That I would guess. Yeah. Anyway, really good stuff from Sharrieff Shah. Really great breakdown of the special teams, developing those punters and long snappers. Great stuff. So there you go. That's Utah's cornerbacks coach, Sharrieff Shah. We might talk about a little bit later on his answer on whether he did, his decision to stay at Utah and not follow Kyle Whittingham to Michigan. So stay tuned. We'll have more coming up next. PK joins us in the 5 o'clock hour. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Sleep Number's new collections are designed to adapt to the changing nature of your life and your sleep needs. Whether it's the personalized comfort of the new Comfort Mode mattress, the targeted pressure relief of the Comfort Next mattress, or the Climate Collection that actively cools or warms to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
And now, get early access to our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on the new Comfort Next Luxe for a limited time. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is Thursday. That means we announce the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. This week's winner is Chelsea Cavett. And here's what it says in her nomination. Coach C is an amazing PE teacher at Vista Elementary in Taylorsville. She teaches the students so many different games and skills for physical fitness. They love the games that she teaches, and they even play those games during recess. During their mile run last year, she would draw a part of a smiley face on the student's hand each time they completed a lap. This encouraged the kids to keep running because they were excited to get their smiley face completed. My son excitedly showed me the smiley face on his hand at the end of the school day. Instead of complaining that he had to run, he was pumped to show me how much he accomplished. She also did a running club for our 4th and 5th graders this past fall. The kids really enjoyed it. It was fun to watch the kids compete, and it brought a sense of belonging to the students at our school. She is cheerful and ready, with a ready smile for all who cross her path. She deserves recognition for the awesome energy and positivity she brings to our PE program. Thanks so much. Shout out to Chelsea Cavett, PE teacher at Vista Elementary right there in Taylorsville. Pretty cool, Christian. Did you? How did you react to running the mile when you were in elementary or junior high? How was your attitude about that?
I was a little chubby kid, so I was not thrilled when it was mile day.
Oh, didn't you just dread it?
I
dreaded it forever, and I am not. I've never been a quote unquote runner, and I know that comes easy for some people. I am not one of them. Just used to dread it. So, for Coach Cavett to find a way
making it fun
to make it digestible, that is the ultimate challenge right there. Getting kids excited to run the mile.
Because it is important.
When was the last time you ran a mile?
Years.
Yeah.
Years. I think I had a PE class in college, I guess. So 5 years.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
You took a PE class in college that made you run a mile?
Yeah.
Dude, you signed up for the wrong PE class. What class was that?
Okay. Actually, no, it wasn't PE. Now that I think, it was like when I first started college, I was going to be a physical therapist. So it was like a class for that.
Wow, you were going to be a physical therapist?
Well, I changed my mind.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you have the heart for physical therapy.
Hence why I'm not there. Yeah. Trust me, I had a hard realization one day.
Meaning that you have a heart, so you're not capable of being a physical therapist.
What was yours named again?
Oh, Mariah.
Inflicted a lot of pain on you.
Terrible pain. Indeed. I didn't know you thought about being a physical therapist. I like you so much less now.
Oh, well, thanks.
Did you study? Did you get far in your studies?
I did 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you did get down the road.
Yeah, I got pretty far down the road. Okay. And then I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this.
Speaking of out of shape and running, did you see this story and then subsequent video? Because I saw the story yesterday, and then I saw this video come out today. But did you see that the Detroit Pistons G League team had public tryouts, and they were charging you $250 to try out? Did you see the video that came out today of some of the try? I mean,
All Stars or what?
No, I mean, So I don't understand. I thought, even though when I first saw the story, I thought, okay, $250 for a G League tryout. All right, that's a shakedown, right?
Well, it's a high enough fee to weed out anybody that's just messing around.
No, it's
you
not.
You would think.
It's not.
But that's what it's okay.
So I don't know if these, what do you call them? Contestants? The people trying out?
Prospects?
No.
Oh, they're not going to make it. No chance.
I don't know. So I don't know if these clowns are participating in this as like a novelty, or if the Pistons G League team is truly profiting off of people who the dream is dead, but they can't let it go. You know what I mean?
Probably a little bit of both.
No, there's a dude in this scrum of a video that has to be 275 pounds.
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
absolutely lumbering out there. And it's probably worse than you would see down at the
number on his jersey is 182. Like he's wearing a jersey, and it's the only triple-digit jersey I've ever seen in basketball.
These got to be guys trying out on a dare or something, right?
Yeah, maybe they lost their fantasy football league.
Because there's no way that these people think that it would actually be possible for them to make the Pistons G League team. And you know what? I know the Stars have had open tryouts before. I don't know if they charged for it, and I honestly don't know the level of player that it attracted. But I can't believe some of these people actually showed up to this tryout thinking that the NBA dream is still alive.
This comment says they got to pay for Jalen Duren's Supermax somehow.
So they're just profiting off of failed dreams from people who have a higher opinion of their basketball game than they should.
We know a few people who'd be there.
That's why I'm saying I would be curious to see what the quality of player that showed up to the Stars Open tryout. I don't know if they're going to have one of those this year. I know they had one a couple of years ago. But no, I don't think the Pistons G League team found the next star from this open tryout. I think they just stole a lot of money from hopeless people that still have hope. Or people doing it as a joke.
That's an expensive joke. $250 is not nothing.
But we're talking about these clowns on the radio in Utah.
Yeah.
They went viral. Maybe that was the idea.
Yeah, the one guy's 275 pounds, maybe 6'1". He steals the ball from a guy who's about 5'10", 5'11", 160.
Yeah, the dream is dead. You just flushed $250.
These are not NBA players, no.
No. Yeah, it's over. It's over, pal. I'm sorry.
Non-refundable fee.
Yeah, of course it's non-refundable. Anyway, the dream is dead. I'm sorry to inform these players, but it's the dream is over. All right, stay tuned. We'll have more coming up next in the 4 o'clock hour. Then PK jumps on with us for the 5 o'clock hour. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.